Hey guys, welcome back, or if you're new, welcome. Sorry, this chair, it's so squeaky. Shut up! This video, I've been thinking about making this video for a long time, since we started our channel, actually. Because I believe that it is important and needs to be addressed. So obviously today we're talking about healthcare professionals that are unhelpful / unethical. And I want to get a bit into what you can do if you are in a situation like this. I want to tell you why I am making this video today. Mostly to give you context and so you understand where I'm coming from. I've been in some situations with healthcare professionals that were either unethical, unhelpful, harmful, or all of the above. One of these particular experiences has hugely impacted the way I feel about treatment and about asking for help. It's affected these things for the worse, and I have to wonder, had I not had this experience with this particular professional, would I be in a more stable place in my recovery right now? And honestly, I think I might be. I haven't talked about this on our channel until now because honestly I've been quite nervous, a little scared to discuss this, mostly for fear of, I don't know who's gonna see this. It's on the internet, anyone can watch it. More recently, I've met some people who also had awful things happen to them while in eating disorder treatment under the care of a professional that was providing unethical treatment. And I've seen how much they were also affected by this. And it reminded me just how much I am still affected by this. And after a lot of contemplating, I decided to share some pieces of my own experience with this. I want people who are in similar situations to see this, because many people have experiences like the ones that I had, and this makes people scared to ask for help, and it turns people off treatment. And unfortunately, because people feel scared to speak up, a lot of people end up never seeking help. And I think that that is not okay. So there is so much I could say about how this person affected me during my time as an inpatient. But for the sake of time, I'm going to just share a few individual incidents that took place. First thing, it's important to know that this person had the most influence on my progression in the program and in the decisions that were made for my treatment plan. They were my main support, resource, the person I was supposed to go to for help and with questions, concerns, needs. So right off the bat, they spoke to me and treated me differently from all of the other patients. They were great with the other patients and offered support and genuine care to all of them, at least that I witnessed. I was very confused because I knew that this person was capable of providing supportive, genuine care to patients in this program. I felt like I had done something wrong. They were harsh, honestly quite mean is the only word for it, really. But worse than any of that, they made me feel like that by asking for help, I was annoying them and that asking for help was wrong. That changed everything, and it hindered my progress completely in treatment because I wasn't getting all of the help that I needed because I was afraid to ask for things that I needed. And when I was struggling, whether it was after a meal with PTSD flashbacks, nightmares, sadness, urges, rather than supporting me and encouraging me, to do what I need to do to get through it. They were mean and called me out in front of everyone and essentially told me that because I had been there for X amount of time, these kinds of struggles and these kinds of feelings should not exist anymore. They made me feel like it was my fault. They would call me out in the hallway in front of all of the other patients. On one occasion, they actually stormed out of the nurses' station, marched me into a corner in front of everyone, got right up in my face, pointing in my face, shouting at me for everyone to see, and I was mortified. The reason this happened was because one of the nurses said, I think it was with my blood pressure or something, this nurse was checking my blood pressure and she was like, make sure you tell them. And I said something very like non-aggressive, like, oh yeah, no, I'll tell them. And then just offhand, I just kind of was like, oh, they make me a little nervous. And I didn't say it in a rude way or anything. It was just kind of a more lighthearted way, even though it was true that this person really did make me feel nervous. I was still just saying it in more of like a passive kind of like joking way. And then the nurse went back into the station and told the person what I had said, and I don't know if the nurse twisted what I said or made it sound sinister, but then the person came marching out and cornered me, yelling at me, saying that I embarrassed them. And I started to cry in the hallway when they were yelling at me, and then they were mad at me because I was crying. And I was so humiliated because all of my co-patients were just standing there watching this happen, and I was just backed into the wall. We were allowed to have ice packs and hot packs in treatment after meals, or if we were feeling anxious, we could have a cold pack. I was there and they knew about all of the physical issues I have because of my cancer and all the chemotherapy. I have like issues with joint pain and back pain, and my digestion was affected. So I would use hot packs and cold packs to help with my pain and stuff. I remember sitting in the lounge, said healthcare professional comes walking into the lounge, looks at me and says,
"What are you doing with those cold and hot packs?"
I was like,
I'm using them for my pain like I always do.
And this person, again in front of everyone, essentially calls me a liar, saying that I'm making up my pain from the cancer that I had and from the chemo. I am making up the pain, and then I was not allowed to use packs for my anxiety or for pain or for post-meal. None of the other staff cared, did anything about it. The last thing I'm going to talk about in regards to this person is the most concerning and the most important thing that happened, and that ultimately I think led to my early discharge from this treatment center. I have post-traumatic stress disorder, and with that comes a lot of flashbacks and a lot of very vivid, terrifying nightmares. And sometimes these nightmares cause me to move around a lot in my sleep. Sometimes I wake up and all my covers are on the floor. Sometimes I wake up and I'm on the floor. It happens. It happened in treatment. I remember being in a nightmare and it was awful. And I remember being so abruptly awoken by somebody shaking me and shouting at me. Mind you, it's the middle of the night. Mind you, I have a roommate. The poor woman is trying to get some rest, and this person is in here shouting at an 18-year-old girl who is on the floor, shaking, terrified. If you also have trauma nightmares, you might know what I'm talking about, that sometimes, especially if you're woken abruptly, sometimes you freak out because for a minute you don't know what's going on and you don't know where you are and you're very confused. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. So to be woken like that, with somebody screaming in my face and shaking me while I'm on the floor, was a horrifying experience. This is hard to talk about, like this is very upsetting. This person said that I was only having these flashbacks and this trauma and these nightmares because I wasn't using enough skills. So this was toward the end of my treatment stay. I decided a couple days after that I was going to tell someone about what was happening with me in this professional. I sat in a room individually with this woman and I let her know what was going on and what had happened a few nights ago. However, I don't think that it was a coincidence that a few days later they had a psychologist come in to the unit to do a full psychological assessment on just me, not any of the other patients, and they did a full IQ test. And the result of that was they told me my working memory is so bad because of the chemotherapy that I had, because some of the brain fog I still have from chemo and some of the ways that chemo affects my memory and the way my brain works, I cannot be in the program. That's the reason they gave for sending me away. Staff came into my room, started taking things off my walls, and said, "You're getting in a cab in 30 minutes. You're being discharged." This person had the ability to influence the team decision to send me out of the program. They discharged me with no discharge planning. Upon discharge from this program, there were things that needed to be done and things that were done for each patient. A 3-week meal plan was created with the help of the dietitians to send the patient with. They were given referrals to dietitians and to other eating disorder professionals. There were next steps talked about, but I was essentially kicked out of this treatment center with no resources. They left me with nothing, and it was really bad. And then it's no surprise that a few months later, I ended up needing to go to treatment again. I did not return to the same treatment center. I went to a different one, and guess what? Turns out I am capable of going through treatment and learning skills just like anyone else, even though my memory is affected because of chemotherapy. I don't think it's a coincidence that after I finally spoke up about what was happening to me at the hands of this professional, I was told I had to leave. This happens to a lot of people. If you are dealing with a healthcare professional that is being unethical, inappropriate, harmful, anything like that, you need to tell someone. It doesn't always go well. To make sure that this is not happening as much as it is, I think that more attention needs to be paid by everyone who is part of a treatment team. Everybody needs to be checking in with each other and making sure that all of the patients under their care are being taken care of and treated with dignity and given ethical treatment and are taken seriously regardless of their situation. And the main thing I want you to take away from this video is that if you've had a bad experience anywhere with a health professional, please don't let it stop you from going out there and getting the help you need. Please don't let it stop you from asking for help. Bad experiences don't mean that everything is going to be bad. There are so many great health professionals out there. There's someone out there for you that is going to help you. So don't you stop fighting until you found someone who can give you what you need. There are also places where you can report health professionals online. You can do it anonymously. A lot of people don't make reports because they're scared that the person they're reporting is going to find out who reported them. So please, if you've been in a situation and you've been subjected to unethical care or mistreatment from a professional, please do report it, even if you do it anonymously, because if it's happening to you in the hands of this person, it could be happening to more people as well. I know this video was kind of rambly and a bit unorganized, but it's important for me So thank you guys for watching. I hope this was helpful for you. Let us know what you want to see from us next. We appreciate all of you guys, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.
Da 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 do 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 do.